So now let's talk about setting up a runway for going full time and leaving your 9 to 5. Do me a solid, especially if you're watching this after January 1st. Do me a solid. Take your W 2 from your previous year, uh, look at it right now. That W 2 is going to show you what you made gross for the year in question. Now, if you don't have at least 50% of that amount that you made for the previous year sitting in a checking account or savings account or investment somewhere, you got to cut your expenses as low as possible if you are really serious about going full time into entrepreneurship. That paycheck is consistent and it's guaranteed to you either every 2 weeks, every week, or every month, whatever the case is. But when you go full time into entrepreneurship, you got to go kill your food. And unfortunately, but fortunately, you can write an unlimited check to yourself depending on how hard you work, and not only how hard, but how efficiently you work in your entrepreneurial endeavors. Because if you don't go kill your food, you don't eat. We got to literally look at this thing like lions in the jungle in the safari. They got to go every single day to go and kill their food, or else they are going to starve. And then if you got cubs, or the lions have cubs, but in your case, if you have children or dependents, you really don't have no excuses. You really got to go hard because you are now saying that it is totally up to me whether we eat or starve. And for me, that's what gets me up every single day, is knowing, hey, if I don't go get it, my household is going to suffer. And so you have to really, really be honest with yourself and cut your expenses to the minimum. And I'm talking about getting rid of the multiple streaming services for video, getting rid of the multiple music services. Do you really honestly need Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube Music? Probably not. You might need to go back to old school Pandora if that's still around and just rock out with as close to free as possible. Maybe you and a couple of family members can get a family account for your streaming music. Now, instead of you just paying, the monthly fee by yourself, you're splitting that expense up with yourself or a couple buddies or whatever the case is, and still getting that benefit. But you gotta cut your expenses to the minimum, because it's honestly not how much you make in business, but how much you keep that determines if you're profitable. As the more you're saving, essentially that's more money that's sitting in your checking account. So you've got to get more intentional about tracking your expenses using, an app like mint.com or some budget app that's out there that's free, that links up to your bank account, that shows you how much money you're spending on food, how much money you're spending on entertainment, how much money you're spending on subscriptions, and really, really, really get serious about getting rid of the fluff in the new year. One thing I learned for sure was during the pandemic, it was a lot of stuff that we were paying for that we honestly did not need. And it wasn't until we were stuck in the house together, my wife and I, that we really sat down and started looking at all of our expenses in its totality. What were some of the things that we were paying for? Did we really need Amazon Prime? Probably not. We probably shouldn't be ordering anything from Amazon unless it's $25 or more, which is how you get free shipping anyway with Amazon. Once we really started looking at how much we're saving versus how much we are spending, it was like, okay, we got to get real with ourselves, especially because during the pandemic, we didn't know what was going to happen in our businesses. And so we really had to cut as much as possible in order to last however long the pandemic was going to last, which we didn't know at that time. But the next pandemic that's going to happen, it's not an if, but when it happens, you want to make sure that your household is living as lean as possible, even when things are going great in your business or even at the job. Now, to that point, as far as giving yourself a runway, once you start saving, you definitely want to look for more opportunities to bring more income into the household. If you are an hourly employee, for example, and your job just won't give you more hours or allow you to work overtime, then you got to pick up a side hustle or two. If you are a salaried employee and the hours you work you just get paid whatever you get paid for the hours that you work, you also need to pick up a side hustle and look for multiple ways that you can continue to bring more dollars into the household on top of what your normal 9 to 5 is going to pay you. There are side hustle gigs like Uber, DoorDash, Lyft that you can sign up for absolutely free. And if you have a vehicle, even if you don't have a vehicle, if you got a bike in some cities, You can literally pick up one or all of the side hustle gig apps that are out there and use that today to start bringing more money into your household. Let me tell you something. Speaking from personal experience, I was making six figures and I still was driving for Uber. You know why? Because I had a goal back in the day, and I literally had a whole YouTube channel dedicated to it called The Bearded Uber Guy. But I literally was making six figures, but because my income fluctuated, although I was making six figures at the end of the year, I had to fill in the gaps from a cash flow standpoint and pick up multiple side hustles, including driving for Uber and for Lyft, to keep our expenses covered during the times where I did not get a paycheck and it was just me working. Great thing about doing side hustles is that it will really let you know how serious you are about going into entrepreneurship, because you're kind of one foot in, one foot out, especially driving for Uber or driving for Lyft. I can't tell you guys how many times we run across Uber drivers, especially when we're traveling, and they do it full time and they make amazing money. And they did it because they said they did not want to work in the 9 to 5 space for whatever reason. And they decided to really lean in on Ubering, door dashing, and things of that nature so that they can control their time. And I can tell you that those individuals, they didn't look stressed. They really felt like they were truly free, because if they wanted to go work out in the mornings, they could do that, and then after working out, go drive a couple hours and make the money that they need because they got their expenses super low. That was the number one thing that a lot of the Uber drivers and Lyft drivers that I would research and find and talk to, they would do a great job of cutting their expenses, and then all that money that they were making as Lyft and Uber drivers, they were using that towards a certain goal. And many of these individuals, they know that they can't just drive forever. They know that there's no future in that, but they're using the door dashing, they're using the Grubhub, they're using these gig opportunities for what it is, to build their own business. And if you're smart about it, especially from our real estate folks, you could drive for like an Uber and a Lyft and have your business cards in the back seat, in a little container in the back seat for people to check out. You can have your social media handle taped to the back of your seat that has like a QR code if they're interested in buying or selling. That is you. You have the flexibility in gig work, for example. You have the flexibility, if you wanted to use that platform to market your own entrepreneurial endeavors. I know one thing: if I'm delivering food to somebody, I'm stapling my business card to that food bag before I hand them that food. And like I said, all you need is just one. All you need is one individual to say, hey, you delivered my food and I saw that you also sell real estate. Funny you left me that card because I'm actually interested in buying or selling real estate. Now, not only did you make money delivering the food or dropping the person off as a Uber or Lyft driver, but now you get the opportunity to build business using another platform that's paying you to do the work that you're doing, but they're giving you the ability to market your other entrepreneurial endeavors. Now, I don't know very many 9 to 5s that will allow you to market your other entrepreneurial endeavors if they don't get a piece of what you're doing. Typically, they'll tell you that you cannot do that. So that's the dope thing about side hustle work and things of that nature that will really allow you to get a runway to not only build your business, but also get yourself ready to go full time.